You know, from James Bond's gadget-packed Submariner to a gangster's flashy gold Datejust, some watches have become just as famous as the stars who wear them. So today, we're going to dive into the world of these amazing cinematic timepieces and figure out how they became Hollywood's ultimate status symbols.
And that's a really interesting question, right? I mean, on the surface, it's just a tool to tell time. But in the movies, and for the celebrities who star in them, a watch can tell you a character's entire backstory, it can be a symbol of immense power, or even a piece of personal history that's worth millions.
And really, no brand embodies this idea more than Rolex. This quote, it just nails the vibe, doesn't it? It's not just about knowing what time it is, it's about making a statement. And in Hollywood, that statement is almost always about success, wealth, and this kind of timeless, classic cool.
So how in the world does a simple accessory become a legend? Well, in a film, a watch is like a powerful storytelling shortcut. It can instantly tell you everything you need to know about a character's status, their precision, maybe their grit, all without them saying a single word.
But you know, this whole love affair with these luxury timepieces, it doesn't just stop when the cameras are off. For so many of Hollywood's biggest names, collecting watches is a serious passion. And their personal choices often say just as much about them as their on-screen roles do.
I mean, the variety among collectors is just amazing. On one hand, you've got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson with a classic, prestigious Yachtmaster, a clear symbol of success. But then you have someone like Charlize Theron, who totally broke the mold back in the 2000s by rocking this massive 44mm men's diving watch. And then, at the absolute high end, you have Tom Brady's ultra-rare Daytona, which sold for a mind-boggling $2.5 million. These aren't just accessories, they're major investments and powerful personal statements.
So naturally, this passion for watches finds its way right back onto the big screen. And that's where a timepiece can really go beyond being just a prop and become a core part of a film's identity.
And of course, you just can't talk about movie watches without talking about James Bond. I mean, come on. From the very first moment Sean Connery appeared in Dr. No, the Rolex Submariner was 007's watch. It was tough, it was sophisticated, just perfect for a super spy. By the time Roger Moore was wearing it, it was even getting those awesome Q-branch upgrades, like a built-in buzzsaw. It's probably the most iconic watch in movie history.
But hey, it wasn't just for suave spies. Oh no! In the gritty 1971 thriller Get Carter, Michael Caine's gold Rolex Datejust was absolutely crucial to his character. He was playing this violent gangster out for revenge, and that gold watch on his wrist was this constant, gleaming symbol of his ruthless ambition. It just screams power.
Okay, so we've seen watches that are iconic and watches that are powerful. But what about the most valuable? Well, the story behind the most expensive Rolex ever sold is actually less about the watch itself and way more about the legendary man who wore it.
This is the one, Paul Newman's Daytona. Now, what's completely wild is that the Daytona model was actually pretty unpopular when it first came out. But Newman got this one as a gift from his wife, and he wore it every single day. He became so connected to it that his association, by itself, turned this once unwanted watch into one of the most sought-after collector's items on the planet. And this is what that story is worth. In 2017, his personal Daytona sold at auction for an unbelievable $17.75 million. That's not just the price of a watch, that's the price of a piece of history, a tangible symbol of a true Hollywood icon. The key thing here is, the story behind the watch became its most valuable feature.
Now, while Rolex might hold the crown, it is certainly not the only brand to make a huge mark on the silver screen. Plenty of other watchmakers have created some of cinema's most memorable and meaningful moments.
Yeah, so if Rolex represents this kind of established idea of success and power, other watches have been used to tell completely different kinds of stories. We're talking everything from futuristic tech and 80s nostalgia to deep personal family history.
Let me give you a few fantastic examples. In Batman Begins, Bruce Wayne wears a Jaeger LeCoultre Reverso, a watch that physically flips over. How perfect is that for his dual life? Then you've got Back to the Future and Marty McFly's Casio calculator watch, an instant icon of the 80s. And who could forget Pulp Fiction? A simple lancet watch becomes the heart of this unforgettable story about legacy and survival.
But of course, luxury watches aren't for everyone. George Clooney is famously loyal to Omega. A guy like Bear Grylls prefers a practical, tough-as-nails Luminox. And for the ultimate punchline, Bill Gates, a man who could literally buy the entire company, has been seen wearing a $50 Casio. It's a fantastic reminder that for some people, function will always win out over status.
So, after all this, what's the ultimate lesson here? It's that whether we're talking about a multi-million-dollar Rolex or a $50 Casio, these timepieces are so much more than just a brand name or a price tag.
The director James Cameron said this about his own Rolex Submariner, the one that was with him on 33 dives to the wreck of the Titanic. That just gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? A watch becomes part of your story, a silent witness to your life's greatest moments.
And that's really the ultimate takeaway. In the hands of a great storyteller, a watch is never just a prop. It's a piece of the character, a symbol of their journey. It's a detail that can speak volumes without ever having to say a word.
It's a fascinating thing to think about, isn't it? Whether it's a high-tech smartwatch, a vintage piece passed down through your family, or maybe no watch at all, what story is it telling?